Let's bring in our casters to see if they're equally as confident in the Atlanta Rain as literally everyone and their mothers.
Yeah, it says so much about the trajectories of these teams and like the different directions they've gone in, that we used to think like Houston really had a crack at this and we were so excited about seeing them take on Atlanta. Now it's like another day at the office.
I mean, for Jake to pick against the Outlaws, you have to know the team on the other side is dominant, right?
It's a dark day. It's a dark day.
Yeah, it's a tough day. It's a tough day. I imagine, you know, Raucus is somewhere just crying his eyes out. Against
Blase, Boink, Bonnie.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Spring can't believe it either. He's fuming.
But, I mean, the Rain are so good. I mean, like, we knew that roster was fantastic before the season, and you're like, oh, man, if they, like, put it together, you know, this team is going to be one that's going to contend to win everything this year. And I think even, like, in terms of, like, your best-case scenario, you were like, you know, they'll have some pitfalls along the way. It doesn't seem like we're having any of that. It seems like they're just powering on through.
I mean, I've got to say, the strength of schedule for Houston Outlaws so far these last couple of weeks has been absolutely horrifying. Mayhem, Uprising, and now the Atlanta Rain, all in the space of 2 weeks. This Outlaws team hasn't had a break, and they're not about to be afforded any mercy here either. Expectations are...
roster, though?
Oh, yes.
It's not like they got the bad news bears over there. I mean, you got a tough schedule, but like you're like one of the most talented teams that's ever been put out in the league, right?
It's not even a tough schedule. It's the struggles, I think, against the Mayhem and Uprising, respectively, that really put this matchup in perspective for us, where there's not a lot of confidence in this Outlaws team. They need to they need to play. I'm saying it now, perfectly. This needs to be absolutely flawless from Houston if they're going to take a win, unless Atlanta just has a random awful day. But they've shown us they are so hungry. No matter how many wins they get, they are so consistent.
Yeah,
Houston have got to be... yeah, they should. I feel it's Reinhardt. I'm here for it. Don't worry. But
why not?
I mean, it has to be something truly special from Houston today. We've got to hope the mindset is right, and let's see how it plays out from here.
It feels like for Houston to win this, even though we know how skilled they are, they have to be absolutely perfect from start to finish. Like, cannot have...
That's almost exactly what I just said.
Where, but you said it with like a thousand other words in it, where it was pretty easy to just kind of get it out there and just move on. You know, that's the Uber special, right? It's like...
Thank you for translating for me, mate.
Yeah, let me
No, that's your boy.
For all the people spamming Winton in chat, let me translate for you.
That's your boy Leg Day. I feel like I'm at least a middle ground, you know what I mean? Shout out to Harry.
Said, you know, they have to play perfect in order to win. That's pretty much what he said there in that 9-minute span.
I am not the most verbose Overwatch League caster. I'm putting it out there right now. Still, not great start for Happy here. Stalker able to find him towards that high ground. This is not a good start for Outlaws.
Playing perfectly looks like, as that is just a speed boost there from the Atlanta Rain. It looks like they kind of see a few players off to the side. Donghag uses Nemesis form, and they just chase everybody down and clean them up.
Yeah, dirty stuff from Atlanta. Again, look, finding that early kill there, care of Stalker is just a huge, it's a huge win for you, getting such a key player out of the mix early on. So Houston, on a fundamental level, they need to be able to match Atlanta Rain before we start thinking about the tweaks, before we start thinking about Flare and all that jazz. May well throw it up here for the Outlaws, but it really doesn't section anyone off here. Immortality Field thrown in to keep Donghak standing. That Emo will be down.
Yeah, I mean, you need to use the Amp Matrix there as well, like try and break through that wall. I mean, Donghak was so low as he was just T-posing Ramatra as an Nemesis form, just blocking all that damage coming on in. This will be an Amp Matrix here from the Outlaws, so Shu trying to get some damage down, put some nice down shots on the Stalker, as that's going to force the land off the point.
Yeah, put the fear of Jonak and Stalker there. He had to run away and throw up that ice block pretty quickly. Immortality Field thrown in here. Shu trying to keep Fearless alive. He just has the right angle here, but the Blizzard makes it nigh impossible. Donghak also going to be frozen up, and Violet's able to finish the job there. Both Ramatras are down. Violet has found yet another elimination towards Stalker, and Lip is too close to the Outlaws. They're hungry, at least, and they're able to fight their way back into the round.
Yeah, so they bully them off the point with the Amp Matrix, and then even though that the Blizzard comes out towards the end there from the Rain and the Overclock, and they try and push on through, the Outlaws still able to withstand as Houston will get control of the point. They'll get close to tie the game up.
Violet credited with 3 final blows in that previous fight, really finishing the job for the Outlaws. A Happy versus Lip Soldier, and that's a fun matchup here. You have to feel pretty good about the ex-Shanghai Dragons player there. It's Annihilation from Fearless. He catches Donghak, who also had popped it himself. Too much damage for Donghak to deal with there. It looks like the Atlanta Reign getting ahead of themselves.
Yes, this will be the Outlaws ending up taking the lead here. So an Ant Matrix possibility for the Outlaws, like as the Reign are starting to walk in. Maybe you can use that, take advantage, put them some big damage, and see what Fielder decides to do with his Ant Matrix.
Atlanta now have lost the lead after these last couple of botched initiations. And have two Ant Matrices in action in this next fight, and Lip uses his instantly, sends a railgun Happy's direction. It doesn't have to be a headshot, which is huge. We know that he can connect those if he needs to, but here it's just a body shot and he gets the job done. Donghak's in trouble, no Immortality Field available to him right now. The Blizzard from Pelican, they have been excellent so far in this round. Eventually the Ramatra of the Atlanta Reign falls, but there's players in position still, and Stalker and Fielder come to the front. It's going to be Violent, the last to be shoved off, and Atlanta are back in control.
I mean, the first kill from Lip is insane, right? I mean, he charges up a rail shot, and the Ant Matrix goes down, and it feels like within seconds he's firing off that rail shot through the Ant Matrix and able to pick up that first pick. Which is huge, but the Outlaws get to 91%, Mitch, and they have the sound barrier here, so they can get aggressive behind this sound barrier support ultimate and maybe flip the point back rather quickly.
Stalker's the player of the watch. I love that our ops team have got him on screen right now. This Blizzard's the difference maker in this fight, or could be at least. Thrown in here, Shu's got to get caught out. That really should be enough, but Fearless wants to try and fight this further. Vortex thrown down. You see Happy just disintegrates as he and Pelican try and combine for a kill up on that high ground here. Fearless down, and Atlanta get another one in a row.
Yeah, they trade sound barriers here towards the end, and Lip with the overclock ends up just deleting two here. So maybe for the Outlaws, you feel like if you trade those sound barriers, you come back, you can actually get Fearless onto the point and use that Ramatra ultimate and swing this last fight.
Yeah, I feel fine about them having Annihilation up right now. Sim TP going to be used. Happy on the switch here. Here we go. Annihilation on the point. Not a subtle strategy, just get Fearless where he needs to be as quickly as possible, apparently. Lip able to break line of sight, though, with those barriers, but Fearless goes around the outside. Shu's Immortality Field does a lot of work here, and Violet's able to find a second kill for the Outlaws in this fight. Houston able to swing it in their favor when it really counts, despite losing to that Blizzard earlier. And Fearless has the advantage, but it's going to be an Annihilation from Donghak to try and salvage the round. It's not to be.
Yes, I mean, he has to use it. No opportunity to reset, get another touch as beginning of the round, all Atlanta Reign, and the Outlaws swing things in their favor to take this first round on Lijiang Tower.
Good looks here from Houston, pretty lively. I've got to say those couple of sort of failed engagements from Atlanta Reign when Houston were at about 40% really put them behind. That sound barrier and being able to just switch to, I mean, it's quite blatant really, switch to Sim and make sure your Ramatra doesn't get caught out of position. It's a huge difference maker. Sound barrier here, of course, from Violet. This is what allowed the Outlaws to get back into the fight. 3 final blows here.
And I mean, this is so ideal if you're an Outlaws fan. I actually am probably just a fan of the league in general. Like, you want to see, we'll see what happens here in map number 1, but you want to see teams beat and challenge the Atlanta Reign at a high level, right? You don't want to see them just kind of like roll through the rest of the league. I think we all believe that potentially the Houston Outlaws with their roster is the best equipped to stand up to them. So at least winning round number 1 there is huge.
You got what we asked for. Fearless on the Reinhardt here on Night Market. We'll have Stalker on the Farah and Lip, of course, on the Sombra. Where else? Violet gets caught there through the window. Stalker's able to play from the periphery here, and this is a problem, Matt, that this Ryan comp often suffers from.
Yeah, as Donghak gets in on the Wrecking Ball, can just cause so much commotion. That's going to be the Immortality Field used as, oh, Happy actually takes out Stalker. He's in the sky as Happy ends up getting 4 here. So, although a pretty good comp from the Atlanta Reign to disrupt this Reinhardt setup with the Sim, once the Sim starts to get charged up, difficult to get out of the way.
Those turrets are a huge problem for Wrecking Ball. There wasn't much Donghak could do there. Happy was so charged up midway through the fight. Donghak turns up here, though. It's a little bit of a weird engage. There's a fight happening outside of the point. Donghak water cleanup on Happy, though, just knocks him straight into the rest of his team. Happy opts to go for a wall here. This will slow Donghak up. See, the turret is constantly a nuisance for him. He's going to be able to pick up the mini and have a minefield available. That's a fairly early Immortality Field in the grand scheme of things here. Atlanta are well positioned. Oh, Ant Matrix!
Yeah, an Ant Matrix from the front side of the point. Yeah, so it's a really nice position here from Shu. Gets the Ant Matrix down, and then also you have Fearless back in the fight as he switches over to the Winston. So yet another hold, it looks like, here from the Houston Outlaws.
And the adaptation from Houston, they knew this ball Farrakhan would be in play a little bit longer, so they quickly, sneakily switched over to the Winston, and that little switch up gives them 50% here. Atlanta say, right, well, if you're going to play Winston, so are we. We're going to revert to something approximating the mirror. But it looks like Houston will still have the Symmetra in play, and I'm curious to see how it plays against Sombra Tracer.
And you don't exactly have the most optimal backline here for the Houston Outlaws, right? Like,
no.
The speed boost here, you know, not exactly something you're going to get a ton of value out of. As Shu has to use his regenerative burst and the immortality field there, still not going to be able to live.
Yeah, good response there, I think, for the rest of Atlanta. While Lip got revealed, everybody piled in from the other direction, and the immortality field came down so early. I think it might have just been, you know, to stave Lip off. They didn't know that Donghack was going to come from the other way. So well done for Atlanta. Great little, a great opportunity, sort of capitalization there, seeing an opening and taking advantage.
And they don't have to use EMP, which is obviously huge, but the Outlaws, it feels like the damage is done, right? Getting up to 99. I know you're not going at 89, so you're not going to have to switch here off of Violet because he wants to get used to the sound barrier. Looks like they're just maybe trying to bait Shu a little bit here. Seems like they have an idea where Lip is as well.
Lip probably thinks he can... Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh. You're combining there with Stalker. It's a guaranteed kill, essentially. Happy, though, in the meantime, is able to do quite a lot of work himself there. Fearless with the Primal Rage, since the entirety of the Atlanta Reign backline down. Houston, though, haven't quite flipped yet, so still at 90% counting after such a great start to the round. They're well positioned now to take it away.
Yeah, they kind of just give up Shu there for a little bit, and they just kind of have everybody else push on through. So it'll be 99 as Lip will be the one to touch.
Okay, here we go. Stalker slept on the point. That's dangerous. Shu calling for help. Somebody help me deal with this target. If Stalker's able to pick himself back up, looks like he is, but still it's Fearless causing problems elsewhere. Both backliners down on the Winston, but Shu's been felled. It's just going to be Violet now for the Outlaws, and he's not in a position to intervene. Going to be able to avoid the primaling Donghack for the time being, but Stalker's able to take Fearless down in lieu of any healing for Houston. Atlanta going to be able to flip back in overtime here, but Happy and Stalker are traded out. No traces here. Violet's going to careen towards the point, but he sees trouble, and it chases him down. Now no Lucio for Houston. Donghack healthy on the point as Atlanta should at least be able to stabilize.
Yeah, Houston made the decision there, Mitch, where Shu was on the point alone for a period of time. He actually gets the sleep on the Stalker, but instead of doubling back to kind of help him and playing from point, they actually use the sound barrier, push on through, and try and get the supports and Donghack, but Donghack ends up having the Primal Rage there, what ends up keeping him alive, turning that fight for the Atlanta Reign.
Lip turns to his back line, a little bit battered and bruised, but they get him back ready to fight once more. Pelicans translocator probably wants to try and catch the Reign from behind if they try and take the front door here, but they don't. He's going to be forced into a 1 versus 1 with Stalker. By the looks of things, the stick is good, but Chio had a nano boost here. Happy now turns his attention towards the point, and Houston are able to flip, re-establishing this overtime. EMP comes down, Donghack's the one affected by it, and the Reign can't keep him standing. They've used both their support ultimates already, but Lip's able to trade it back. Chio, trying to cling to life, is fielded quickly, gets in position to heal him back up. No bio, he's hacked from that side angle, forced off the point, shield bash from Chio, and there it is, the bio comes up just in time to get rid of Pelican. Here's a rally, but the sleep is good. Stalker's going to be resting for the time being, and it'll be even longer now as he's headed back towards Ford. Shuba's under a lot of pressure here, but there's a rally. He's going to get behind his brick, but it's not enough healing to keep him alive as Donghack looks to pressure down with the Primal. Oh, the Primal! Fearless knocks him away from the point, and Houston snatch away Lee Xiang Tower. We said it had to be perfect. Looks like that was enough for now.
Yeah, as the Outlaws come out swinging here in map number 1, as some almost heroics there from the support line of the Atlanta Reign, but it is not enough as Fearless gets back into the fight there towards the end. Beautiful use of the Primal Rage, knocking those supports out of the way. And Violet with that rally there towards the end sealed the deal.
It feels like this brutal strength of schedule for the Outlaws has allowed them to get into match condition for this head-to-head with the Atlanta Reign. It's been such a rough couple of weeks for them here, but my goodness, what a way to start this series, and maybe a load off your back, and maybe belief that this time you can actually do it. I tell you what, man, Houston, the fire on all cylinders today here. The Atlanta Reign, though, not so sure. A little bit chaotic in that last round.
Yes, it got a little bit crazy in that final round, but in the moments where the Outlaws needed to come up clutch in some of these fights, they definitely did here at the beginning. It's just, can you do this over the course of an entire series, right? You know, it seems like, obviously, you know, skilled enough to do it against the Atlanta Reign for a map at a time. It's can you do it 3 times is the thing.
Happy there, of course, starting the round on Sim, and then we switch to a good old-fashioned Sombra Tracer dive. Something that Chio said that his team was the best in the world out, but the Outlaws get them in the mirror at the end of Lijiang Tower. What a great start to this series. Already sparks are flying. Stick around for Midtown, because that match will be anything but.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Turn it way up, turn it way up. Crank that volume, turn it way up, way up.
Forged in fire and flames. This first couple of weeks of the second half of the season, the Houston Outlaws have gone up against basically all the best teams in the league, with the exception of the Atlanta Reign until today. And looks like the hard work, the preparation, the disappointment of week one has paid off, Matthew.
Yeah, at least it looks like here so far. And I also got to believe it is just a huge amount of confidence here for the Outlaws to win map number 1, right? Come in here, win map number 1, a little bit of a swing there towards the Atlanta Reign, right? Let them know you're there, hitting on the other side. And now it puts a lot of pressure on Atlanta.
Absolutely. Coming to Midtown. we kind of have a decent feel for what the Atlanta Reign prefer to play. I must say, today, we've seen a ton of variation in team comps. This first map in this series, no different. Atlanta try for a real throwback. It's Wrecking Ball Farah with the Tracer. Very Shanghai Dragons, sort of esque back in sort of the tail end of 6 versus 6. They tried to sort of break down that GOAT's monopoly that existed. A fun little throwback there. Didn't quite work out though, as the Atlanta Reign got owned by Spectra, of all things. Happy getting some highlight moments there. Doesn't really make sense, but it's how it played out here. So Houston starting on defense, and we'll see. Okay, so the Pelican Echo, and I wonder if they treat this map, Matthew, similar to Akinvola defense in terms of where the Echo gets value.
Yeah, I mean, look, with the subway car, right? There's a lot of, just blocking some of the sight lines that you would use to take that Echo out. It'll be interesting what we see the Atlanta Reign play. Do we see them play this Cassidy? Do we see them maybe play the Tracer Sombra? I think obviously some good options there for the Atlanta Reign, as looks like Chio's switching over to Brig, not going to play Life Weaver, as I imagine we see Stalker on the Tracer.
First Sim TP, and then Stalker will follow them out with a couple of quick blinks, and we'll be in position now. Lip already has made his way through, and he will have noted the Echo for Pelican, not that he's hiding himself. Takes to the skies after being hacked, and you saw he is the first target on the chopping block for Atlanta. Donghack made the dive, but pulled up short, got hit with a Bionade, and was forced to back out.
Yeah, as Fielder trying to keep Chio alive as well, as Chio takes a big hit, as Donghack trying to get maybe some of this high ground control, letting Lip just kind of like work around the outside, right, of how you actually break this setup, is constantly going after Pelican.
Disrupting Donghack is probably the most important part of the game here for Houston. That's the third time he's been unsuccessful on a dive. 2 whip shots in a row connecting by Violet. When the Donghack gets suspended in midair for a couple of seconds, there's some serious healing that needs to be done here, and just as Shu turns his head away, Donghack strikes. If you give the Atlanta Reign the smallest of openings, they will take it, stuff every resource they have into it. Pry open the Houston Outlaws here on defense, as Pelican is the second to fall.
Yes, I mean, things just start to crumble after a while, as you just have so much, like, peppering and posturing from, Lip and Stalker from one side, and then Donghack so patient, right? All it takes is just a little bit of a window of opportunity, and that's when the Atlanta Reign strike.
Lip sets up a translocator that cannot be destroyed, or very, very hard to do so if you can even find it. Happy placed forward early on here. Maybe you might see like an early opportunity for a pulse bomb. That'd really set the Outlaws in motion here. But Houston, despite not having a poke composition, they really want a nice perch for their Ana to play from. And you see that Fearless maintains the line of sight to shoot until he steps inside Donghack's bubble, but it's an annoying combo to break as the EMP drops in, and Happy drops right on out.
I mean, even just getting the EMP and just getting 1 kill off of that, right? Especially it being the Tracer, it just seems like the large source of the damage. Things just kind of fall apart after that. As you were wondering how the Atlanta Reign were going to bounce back. It has been strong here this far on Midtown. I think this is like kind of where you worried, right? Where you had to mirror these types of compositions. This is where Atlanta's so good.
Something went wrong there on the high ground for Shu. As we saw Fearless out in the open with sight lines, but not able to be healed. I think Lip got in there and caused some disruption either way. No healing for Fearless, so we fell just after Happy did. That EMP in play. So now once again, Lip is on a mission to hack the backline. Looks like he forced a bio from Shuthi. I'm not sure if he needed that one, but no big deal in the end. Pelican wants to try and disrupt here. Chio gets him with the EMP, gets the rally just in time. Scant seconds between him and the instant death. He's able to pop the ultimate, and we're back on if you're an Atlanta Reign fan. Stalker gets a heal pack on the cart. Chio in Raid Boss mode turns up to help reinforce it. Fearless dropping early again, but traded. Donghack is out of the picture. Both Sombras able to find the enemy Winstons and dispatch them. And Stalker now is being forced right on back. It's a rally for Violet. The later rally, meaning Atlanta in a longer fight, are disadvantaged.
Yeah, we'll see if Atlanta fully backs out, though. It's like you're going to be able to heal Chio back up. Now kind of get everybody organized around this EMP. Is, man, Houston, they invested so heavily on that high ground to try and be able to take out Chio. I know they ended up using their own EMP. The rally came out from Chio at the perfect time to keep himself alive, but it was EMP, Pulse Bomb, and Primal up on the high ground. They didn't get rid of those supports, and guess what? You can come right back in fast behind your own EMP there from Lip and take that second checkpoint.
I mean, this is the case for the Sombra Tracer setup, and nobody builds EMPs quicker than Lip. Nobody sticks around long as long as him in terms of getting damage in those fights than he does. And that might be a big difference maker in a series where these two teams, pound for pound, are pretty similarly matched.
This is looking like it could be a pretty good time, though, Mitch. I mean, from the Atlanta Reign, right? Not been a ton of resistance here from the Houston Outlaws, and you see they just kind of get pushed off that high ground. That you control this high ground, you're allowed this cart to maybe even move around this second corner.
Getting close to that. Fearless hacked here, so he can't be diving. Lip gets a repair pack. Chio, okay, whip shots early, misses, and then he gets dove on. Happy was there with Pelican's EMP really sealing the deal. So Houston, they may be feigning that they were backing up, retreating, and then they dive straight on in as the whip shot had already gotten used. Good timing there for Fearless. Now Houston look to stabilize this a bit more. Cart's still inching around the corner, but it's really just the last mistake of Atlanta Reign.
You don't get a full team wipe off of this, right? So you can come back here. I mean, this is going to be the EMP for Atlanta. Looks like connects with a few players. That's going to be Fearless getting the benefits of the nano, right? Just trying to keep himself alive. But that EMP actually goes for another. For a second there, I thought you could use that EMP, maybe use your own nano on the Donghack and go in there and make a play.
I think Donghack wasn't able to get to the target he was looking for within that EMP. So now the nano comes in, but these ultimates look even better in concert sometimes. Donghack's nano allows him to force the Outlaws back around that L-shaped corner, but it doesn't allow them to get a player advantage. Perhaps this dive will be different. Shu, very, very low here, but Happy is there. He's peeling for his Ana, and he has a pulse bomb available here. Stalker trying to do much the same thing on the other side of the map. You saw Fearless make a dive on the advanced players of the Atlanta Reign. Donghack's playing safe for now. The Outlaws just don't want to get baited into anything.
Yeah, this looks like to be a pretty good defense here from the Outlaws. They do not want to, well, as I say that, I mean, they don't want to get baited in anything, but now they're actually just getting pushed back deep into their spawn. But it's been about like a 2.5, 3 minute hold here almost. They're going to have Rally coming out of the spawn as well.
It's looked decent from Houston. They made up some serious time here in the last couple of fights, but Atlanta eventually break through. And they have an EMP. That is a very scary prospect with Pelican unlikely to build it within the next 10 seconds. Stalker's the one shunting the cart forward ever so slowly. Does respect the damage coming in from the periphery here and opts to back up instead. This buys Pelican enough time to get his ultimate online too.
Lip just trying to find it's just going to be basically on a Fearless. Oh, they blow him up. That's a huge kill.
Yeah, Pelican finds nothing for his. Fearless wasn't able to follow up on the dive that Pelican was hoping to set up with his own EMP. And so we have both support ultimates layered into this fight. Gonna be Violet getting the nano boost here inside the rally, but the damage, yep, Happy has it. That's what they needed, and Happy provides. Chio here's force right on back. He got the nano as well. Atlanta Reign now starting to run short on time.
I mean, it becomes so difficult to dislodge that Brig when they have the nano in rally, with how strong Brig can be during rally now. So, although Atlanta tried it themselves, it's way different, right? Like pushing into that. Just the Tracer are able to get some good off angles, so Happy able to pick up some kills. Yeah, this is looking like maybe the Outlaws can get a hold.
Yeah, time is money, and that account for the Atlanta Reign is getting dry. Lip, though, and Pelican building those EMPs very quickly, albeit in step with one another. As happy as possible, the only real ultimate on the field as we speak. Right now, just trying to control these flank angles, going 1-for-1 against Stalker. Making it harder for the Atlanta Reign's Tracer to have access to the backline. It's a tough job for Happy. As quickly the 1v1 can turn to 1v2 against a Sombra, and that's not where you want to be. Have to have extreme awareness here.
Yeah, as it looks like Atlanta just trying to find an angle here.
What was that?
That doesn't get anything. Nobody gets hit by that.
Uncharacteristic miss from Lip, and now Pelican's got one of his own. This one catches Donghack, who's just able to get away. Lip also caught, but no one was looking in the Sombra's direction here. 17 seconds left in the round, and Fearless gets a nano. He goes for the backline, and Fielder's under some serious pressure. Donghack doing much the same thing, but doesn't have any access to these targets, and now he's put to sleep. That nano is going to expire without any result for the Atlanta Reign. But Stalker's pulse bomb is an option here. Happy's forced to recall a Violet on his own. He doesn't want to be here, and he knows it. Trying to shield bash away, but eventually Stalker is going to accost him and remove him from the picture. The stick, the lob, it's beautiful from Stalker. Both backliners are now out of the fight. The Atlanta Reign in overtime have the numbers, and they have the job done. Houston buckle at the knees right at the 11th hour.
Yeah, I mean, Chio actually has the rally there towards the end. He's able to use the rally on the payload, keep everybody topped up, and you saw Violet kind of get stuck in that train car. He's trying to heal some of his teammates, kind of playing off an off angle. He's about like 90% there towards his rally, probably trying to look at a little bit of an off angle, maybe put some damage down, you know, get a heal pack or two, and then end up with his own rally. Doesn't actually get it in the end.
Yeah, that positioning, yeah, was Just tough for Violet. Getting caught out there. I think he was at the time playing with Happy, but Happy recalls prematurely. I think his Stalker threatens a one clip, charging onto the card against him. Oh, close round. The fundamentals, which is something that we floated in the first map, have been really good for Houston. Atlanta Reign were like 4 minutes on the time bank approaching that last phase of the map, so Houston had to get going there. And I think all things considered, they're happy with no extra time for their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, look, where the game was going, right? How it looked like the Outlaws, really weren't going to be able to put up a strong hold on defense. Atlanta just pushing on through. To get a map completion with no time to bank, like that's pretty good for the Outlaws, right? Considering where things look like they could have went. Let's see how their offense goes, though. Have to be a little bit cleaner.
Atlanta, a team in the defensive dive that look really terrifying. Very, very good at taking the initiative and taking some calculated risks with a somewhat all-in style with Winston. She's going to line this up. Now, what is he waiting for, I wonder? A ping maybe on the enemy Winston's position?
Possibly, let's see.
I see. Maybe to splash onto people that are standing on the high ground. It's like a set bonade on a Winston could be a great way to start. Doesn't quite connect. Donghack's able to avoid it.
I think maybe a little bit further out, right? It would have landed right on top of Donghack, which would have been tough.
Fielder got a pretty long wait list here of healing candidates, but able to keep both his Brigand and Donghack up. But yeah, quickly having to give up space here because I'm pretty sure Shu's looking straight at him. So taking risks, peeking out here, but they get Violet. Okay, the Atlanta Reign give a little bit of ground and lose Lip, but I think they trade up in a big way. They're taking this one to the bank. Losing Donghack, though, not great. Still having both supports, though, is a huge plus. And see how they leverage that here as Fearless just gets the Mega, just stays alive.
Chio's really weak, though, as does not look like Happy's going to be able to finish him off. So that was actually a big biotic grenade from Fielder towards that high ground that actually doesn't give any of his allies the benefits of the nade, but he actually connected with it on a Violet, and that's how Violet falls really early on, because they were getting in the mix. They wanted to really try and fight and contest that high ground.
A bit closer to an EMP now. Pelican already has his. There's any fight for a victory to be found here. It's going to be right about here. Big EMP in the back line. Shu and Violet clinging alive. It's going to be a later one from Pelican, though, and the Outlaws are ready to capitalize. Nano on Stalker, who just got hacked. The pulse bomb goes awry. He's able to recall just in time, and that buys enough for Fielder to get rid of Fearless. 2 support ults for the Outlaws, though. There's no reason to be giving up this point here, and I think they agree. Chio slept. Happy's just going to let him sit there now, and the rally's in place, and he gets to be a little bit more aggressive. Donghack's back on the scene here. Chio will have rallies, going to pop it immediately, but the biotic grenade's a scary factor here. Chio has to give some ground, now come back, but already almost 2 ticks given away. Raid Boss, though, he is really ticking over, and Violet's going to fall down. There's a chance for Atlanta to come back here. The primal rage from Donghack. So he's going to break the deadlock again. The Atlanta Reign are walking a tightrope. They're making it look good.
They wanted that kill on Chio so bad. I mean, he gets slept. They keep him alive through that. He ends up getting up, popping his rally. He gets hit with a biotic grenade. They wanted to push in for that kill so bad. They don't get it. And now, only 1 tick on the point, especially with how things are going there. It was going pretty decent for the Outlaws. Only walk away with 1 tick there. And now you're getting near below a minute. I mean, it is a really tough spot for Houston.
That's lovely from Fielder. The biotic grenade on Fearless that forces the primal. Looks like the sleep was also good, but somebody woke up the monkey. Fearless is able to get away, though, and it had to be a nano boost used for Chio. Ooh, pulse bomb. That's fine. It's on the right side of the shield this time. The Houston Outlaws running out of options. This EMP is going to have to be it. But of course, Lip is mirrored one as well. Happy almost gets torn to shreds as he drops to the low ground. Stalker's tracking, impressive as always. Fielder and Happy at the trades here. Gio still hacked for now, but able to hang on. He's under a lot of pressure, though. You can see him back there, and eventually both flanking DPS bring him to heal. It's going to be Donghack and a couple of other players, a couple of DPS on the point. What can they do here? Shu just wants to keep Fearless up. That's all he cares about right now, and is building that nano pretty quickly. 2 ticks. Donghack is lurking on the top floor, but he's been chased by Fearless.
He's going to get the health pack, and you're going to have somebody here get a touch. You're going to have both supports come back, and they actually don't do a Pelican.
Yeah, Lip's going to come to the point now after getting rid of the enemy. Sombra, Brig is here. Happy's going to be forced away. The Houston Outlaws, they had a window. It was a slim one, but they can't squeeze through it. And now they're going to have to get it done in desperation, and desperation alone in the last 6 seconds. Happy will be pursued to the grave. It's going to be Chio backing up again. Rally used, even though he's hit with the bio. He wants to give the healing to the rest of his team. Fearless nanoed right now, but Chio has no fear. Brings him down, but Pelican elsewhere deals with Stalker. It's going to be a rally coming in from Violet now, but the shield bash from Chio. He is brave, I'll give him that. But now Donghak with the Primal Rage looks to try and make the difference, and it's Shu taken down. EMP late in the day, can it give him the kill on Violet? Yes! Donghak's able to go in there and find that player. Now there's no healers left for the Houston Outlaws, but there will be players coming back off respawn. Donghak has to finish the job now, and it looks like the Reign have done it. They hold off on defense against the Outlaws. The full hold here on Midtown, and a real masterclass in defensive dive play.
I mean, that is the Atlanta Reign we are used to seeing. Even when the fights look lost, it is never over, you know, right there towards the end. Donghak juggling the point there with Lip coming in from one side, and once they get that kill onto Violet after that EMP, it just felt inevitable that the Atlanta Reign were going to get a hold.
The peel is just so good for this Atlanta Reign team. Stalker ends the map with 13 final blows and 3 deaths, combining for what, having more than Happy and Pelican combined. And that's why you're saying things like, wow, Houston really wanted to kill that player, but they can't. The peel is so good from Atlanta. They're denying these eliminations from Houston. Business relationship or not, Chio and Fielder may as well be mind-linked.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good. It feels like they try and make a play for Chio and Fielder every single time, whether it's like the rally or a nano or just the ability to just keep healing each other and keeping each other up. It just seems like it's on another level from all other supports.
So Violet just getting caught out of position. This is where it all went wrong for Houston on defense. What actually could have been a successful defense. See Stalker immediately take advantage of the opening in formation. And this is now overtime. Donghak sort of returning to the fight here. See the Primal and note the EMP, I think that comes just after the fact. Allows him to find that second kill. Stunning stuff. Short-handed as well, Atlanta Reign, in many of these engagements. There it is, a convincing win on Midtown, everybody. So Dorado's up next. This is a banger to potential 2 best teams in the West, throwing everything they have at each other. So don't go anywhere. many whispers about Stalker when he first sort of made his debut internationally, and now we really get to see what this guy is capable of. Now, I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm okay being reminded every now and then why Atlanta Reign are the best team in the world. This guy, he's a big part of that.
Oh yeah, I mean, he is big time on the Tracer specifically, right? We knew how good he was on this hero coming into the season, and then kind of once you put him together with the rest of the squad, it is just dominance from Stalker on this hero.
Absolutely. Again, at times a little bit quiet in this round, but I mean, it was the defense where I was really just blown away. This moment here, the lob of the pulse bomb, after, of course, already catching Violet out of position. So the intuition that Stalker has is really, it's really on a different level here. And I think we got it displayed even more on defense when they were short-handed in some of these fights. Stalker was able to just manufacture advantages where they really shouldn't have existed at all. But that's what this Atlanta Reign team does. Every player in every role does that with regularity. That's why they're undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, they just do a fantastic job, right? It's something we see out of like every top team, I feel like, each year. It's, you know, when a fight looks definitely over, it's never truly over, right? They always seem to figure out a way to, you know, cycle players on to the point, to off of the point, keep it going until they get everybody back at full strength, or, you know, have a key ultimate come online and end up able to win it. And it seems like Atlanta able to do it every single time.
And look, we're back to business. I mean, Dorado is going to be the kind of map where we can continue to see this display from Atlanta Reign. Many teams have tried to break the mold and play some different style compositions, but these two teams are more than happy to run the mirror back again. Because frankly, that's Houston's metric for success here. If we can't beat Atlanta Reign in the Tracer Sombra mirror, we aren't going to beat them at all. Atlanta say as much as well. You know, so Chi in the interview said a lot of these different compositions tend to fall over in aggregate over a longer period of time against the Winston Tracer Sombra comp. So we have a convergence to what I'd call the mean in the Overwatch League in terms of these two team setups, and Houston just have to win in a mirror. They can't do that, then forget about it.
Yeah, exactly, right? So we'll see now with the Atlanta Reign on defense. They'll probably play a little bit closer here, take this high ground with Donghack in a fantastic position to do so. As Happy, you imagine this is just a shot here on the Widow? Maybe just trying to find somebody. I know, probably hoping that Stalker jumps there for a quick second, try and get a shot off. And it'll be Pelican playing the Echo, so going to give them a little bit more access to that high ground.
Lib playing pretty safe to start with. Fearless will dive and he'll get out. He's not too far away, and Fearless knows. He sees the health pack having just been picked up, so he knows where Lib is. Doesn't need to worry about him yet. Pelican's Echo now obviously is pretty scary. Prospect for Donghack. You notice that like the healing's coming in very quickly. Fielder is not letting Donghack fall below 50% HP if he can help it, so be very focused on that and not on this as Pelican bores a hole through his face.
Yeah, and that's huge, right? Just having the access to this high ground. That's what so many, you know, teams and comps even in the past have struggled with here on Dorado, especially on first point. So having an Echo as good as Pelican get up in the sky, I mean, look at this. This is just an easy kill for him. Finding a brig out in the middle of the open. Easy kill for an Echo like Pelican is now they've got the payload moving very close to taking this first point.
Yeah, so this is informing that discussion about the Echo inclusion here and if it can really be a difference maker, if it's patently better or only in certain situations. Can't say much about Shu though there, as the Pulse Bomb is really all you need to know about that engagement. Happy able to trade there, but yeah, that's all he's going to be able to extract from this dire situation.
I think they knew that Stalker was behind. They just didn't think maybe it was that big of a threat, and Shu just gets caught out a little bit too far from everybody else and gets hit with a Pulse Bomb, killed instantly. As oh, look at this. Oh, Lib actually gets slipped in the high ground. Donghack goes up there with a bubble, trying to save him, but not able to do so.
That's huge for Houston. What a big opening now. Whip shot onto Fearless makes it a little bit harder for him to get this one started off in the way he'd like. Also doesn't mean he can get past Donghack, but Happy can. He slips behind enemy lines and dispatches Fielder very quickly. And that should be it. We're going to get there for sure. Shu obviously parting with the nano boost in that fight, but Houston with 4:25 to play. It's a cracking pace to be setting.
I would love to know how the sleep happens on the lip there, right? In the position that he gets slept in, when we see it from, you know, that overhead, it's like, why would you not be in stealth there? Maybe it's a scenario where like Shu just kind of like bumps into him, just like an auto react, like the reaction time is so good that he's able to land that sleep on potentially a stealth Sombra. I mean, that is a huge play there from Shu.
While on the high grounds, ranging really far and wide to spy check there. He almost pushes into enemy territory, just going with that flail. Catching Lip early again would be huge for him. Here we go, creeping across the windowsill are those supports. Pelican is able to be healed up. Donghack a little low here, a little probably concerned about focusing beam, so throws a bubble down, lets his team top him. What? Was that a stick on Pelican or maybe just on the corner?
It looked like it was like almost on a Violet on the corner here, but maybe Violet dodged it, and I think Pelican was actually right behind them as they were going to go try and take the high ground. Because yes, it is very rare, especially, I mean, well, even with this high ground, right? I mean, just in general, see a Tracer get a stick on an Echo.
Zorka drops down, Pelican able to avoid it again. Back to the skies in Violet and Shu are walking a little tightrope here, just playing right on the edge. They know if Atlantic is dealing with them, they're going to be asking for a fight. Focusing beam, coming towards Fielder. Can't quite give him the last lick, but Fearless is going to be there. Pelican's knocked out of dupe, and now he's in trouble. Yeah, Chio's is going to plop right on top of him here, so it ends up being a 1-for-1. You lost your Ana as the Atlanta Reign. Chio now returning to the fray. That pulse won't be written home about there, as Violet just sort of moves on with his life. The Donghack goes for the primal here, maybe to buy a little bit of time for Fielder to get back. There is a nano boost available for Atlanta Reign. And it may have been the plan, but Fearless makes that a little bit complicated by pushing deep and making it hard for Atlanta Reign supports to come out. This yields a kill on Stalker as he has no support. Violet and Shu able to deal with him now. Donghack going over the top, stunned briefly by the rally shield bash. Low, under the effect of that body grenade, gets one from his teammate still, but Atlanta aren't able to start anything up right now. This is scary.
Very scary. I mean, they're trying to just keep this going in terms of like keeping the payload contested. Donghack gets so low. Big biotic grenade there from Shu, ends up taking out Donghack, letting Fearless push into the back line, and that'll be the second checkpoint.
It's a relentless from Houston. They just won't stop. Donghack never had a chance to get above 20% HP there. Even the pulse bomb by Happy, I think they were stuck to the shield. Got some splash damage on Donghack, which made it even harder for Atlanta Reign to return him to the fray. And eventually Pelican just chases him down.
All right, so now with 3 minutes to go here, what do you have if you're the Outlaws to work with? Lip is going to have this EMP, so you kind of view this as potentially a fight lost, right? I mean, he's so good with it. Historically, as you see Donghack jumped in there. Maybe you would have thought they would have used
too
it
early.
Just bring somebody back. Well, Donghack just gets like finished off there. I mean, just kind of
if he was
jumps in.
Normally, I would have understood that if there was an EMP, right? Like, the timing's good if Lip EMP's there. Maybe Lip decides not to, and Donghack doesn't get the memo, and then dives, which is fine, and then instantly gets picked off, which is
Donghack be
not
in that
fine.
position, right? Why would he dive in there if you're not going to get that EMP? Maybe they were, like, didn't want to use it because they thought players were going to come around that corner. That's an EMP there from Pelican. It looks like next to the few players, but Chio gets the rally off.
Yeah, 3-player shield bash there from Chio, which really threw the Outlaws off balance, and that opens the door for an EMP for Lip. Maybe just as well, he was forced to hold on to it there. That's a definite fight win for Atlanta.
So even with a little bit of a weird first fight, so to speak, right, where Donghack dives in deep, potentially thinking that Lip is going to set up an EMP, the EMP from Lip is still extremely good there as people get funneled in towards where that like mini health pack is, that little hallway. Lip hits a huge EMP, then they're able to finish off 3.
Pelican and Lip now obviously having used those ultimates. We're down to primals and pulse bombs. Sounds like a mid-2000s post-punk band. Nano for Shu, but doesn't quite need it here. Fearless looking pretty healthy. Donghack decides to go first with his primal, but what's the plan? Very defensive about it. Doesn't have a way to use the disruption, and now he has to play second fiddle, try and chase Fearless down. Who gets Nano, who now heads straight for that backline, and Fearless in deep trouble. Got a repair pack, but it's going to take a lot more than that to patch him up after Fearless is done tearing him limb from limb. And now Donghack's in an awkward spot with no one to give him Nano and no primal of his own. Houston are exploiting small mistakes on the Atlanta Reign, and that's turning into this position now. 1 minute left in the round. Stalker's forced to blink here. You see Chio come up with that nano boost. That's a scary prospect, but the bio makes it much more manageable. The pulse bomb would have been good, but it's ultimately overkill as Violet's able to find 2. The Houston Outlaws look very, very well drilled now, and Donghack gets absolutely punished for the last 3 fights of the round.
I mean, Shu has a fantastic map. I mean, so many sleeps, bio grenades. I mean, just fantastic overall there from Shu. And it feels like when the Outlaws support line, right, like they have obviously just 2 incredible players. It feels like their highs are potentially like higher than, Chio and Fielder. It's just, maybe not as consistent, right? Where when they have games like this, though, that they look just as dominant. I mean, fantastic play from Shu and Violet.
I said at the start of the game that Houston had to be perfect, but it feels like Atlanta Reign are a little off at times here. No, we don't have to go back far to see an example of that, right? The Donghack sort of following up on an imaginary EMP and then unfortunately getting caught out there where Lip has to go back to spawn. In fairness, Lip's able to find an EMP in the next fight, but they give up a lot of cart progress in doing so. You got to hand it to Houston. They're hungry, and they're doing a very good job of not only identifying errors for Atlanta, but exploiting them to the fullest.
Yeah, absolutely. Where I think the Echo was great at the start there from the Outlaws, right? Being able to play the Echo, get some high ground control. And then even with Lip just kind of like stalking that back line, just being able to stay alive is seems like the morale is not down after Midtown, right? Easily could have saw the Outlaws like fold and just kind of fumble the rest of the series away, but they bounce back with a completion here on their offense. So Stalker will come out here on the Widow just like we saw Happy, and then we'll see him go to the Tracer.
An instant Tracer kill would be amazing, but we rarely see it. Stalker just gets an instant kill as Tracer instead on Pelican, who clearly was caught out there. Brig was involved in that elimination, so the tale is told by the kill feed there. Stalker goes upstairs. That is actually a nice little bit of techers. Don't have to go around the long way, take the stairs. Fearless quickly being patched up by Shu, throws that bio in. Donghack again just going up every now and then just to make sure Houston are respecting him, keeping them on the high ground for as long as possible. That's what allows this card to get up through this choke. But they may have left their backline behind.
Yeah, I mean, even with that first kill that happens on the Pelican, it's not really sure exactly how, but the Outlaws who do not give up the high ground, right? They still see, just when Fearless jumps up there, right? Violet's still controlling that high ground there with Shu. They don't give it up, and the cart just kind of stuck now underneath that tunnel.
A lot of damage being thrown at that one corner. Stalker had to recall very early there. Still on cooldown, by the way. So, we got to be careful. Violet, I don't think a dousing of a Bionade by Shu. Stalker didn't have an option there. He just vaporized.
Yes. Now this is scary for the Atlanta Reign because Houston starts to cycle some of these ultimates, right? Rally, Nano, Primal Rage available. You're going to get close to an EMP where you can't really get the cart moving. That's actually a bio that hits Donghack, and he gets hacked. He's going to be able to live for a little bit, but these ultimates, you could use them and cycle them and really make it difficult for Atlanta Reign to get that payload moving again.
That's what they want. They want to be able to settle into this kind of rhythm. It's ridiculous they haven't been forced apart with any of them with 2 minutes in the round. Chio, Happy even committing to try and find the kill there, but looks like Pelican wasn't quite in the best position to do damage to that Uzi. Fearless going for the Primal here, and Violet's rally's going to keep the Outlaws in the fight. An EMP, though, on the Brig shuts the rally down midway through. And Chio's making it hard for Happy to find purchase in the backline. Trade at least of honors as Donghack gets to Shu. And eventually Pelican prevails after being unable to assist with the post-EMP Brig focus. Stalker's still a problem, though. Fearless going back to spawn to find a kill. He gets what he wanted, though. Having to be forced on respawn here by Stalker's going to hurt.
Yeah, and can you come back here for the Atlanta Reign and, start to get some payload progress? Because you still have Happy here, and the kills were traded out pretty effectively. I actually thought the trade of the EMP, using Pelican's EMP and basically getting Chio to pop Rally and Nano out at the same time, that was a win for the Outlaws. It just didn't seem like after that they played things right.
They bought just enough time. Donghack is using a leap now. That could get him killed along with Lip. Looks like they were able to escape, but Stalker comes up clutch with a pulse bomb at quite the opportune moment. This Primal for Donghack is annoying more than anything for Fearless, who's actually just going to die to the damage, because can't be seen by Shu. And then Donghack cuts off the healing.
Oh, still, so yeah, I mean, you do buy some time here for the Outlaws, so you do dwindle the clock down pretty significantly. 3:13 to get through this second stage of the map. If you're the Outlaws, you just think about defending that checkpoint C, right? You come back here, you can win a fight quickly with that EMP, get it below 2 minutes. You're still in a fantastic spot here if you're the Outlaws. You cannot just let the Atlanta Reign steamroll through this part of the map. With this high ground control, you have to burn significant clock.
So Donghack goes first here, tries to set the rules of engagement and keep the Outlaws in position. Every time that jump comes to cooldown, he goes up. Pelican is are lurking. Oh, the lip disappears in front of him. Doesn't think to go for the EMP there. Instead, just heads back upstairs where he had his translocator placed. We're going to place it once more as the cooldown just ends. How do you catch everyone in this EMP? It's a tough job. Look at how far apart these two are.
Do you need everybody? Well, at this point, you can't use it, right? Your translocator is busted, right? So your translocator gets taken out. You have to wait, but then now you've allowed them to build up towards double support ult on the other side.
Right, the Nano Fearless. He's a long way away from the focus here. It looks like it was Chio that he had eyes for. Donghack, though, is the one that falls, so not sure how that happened. I think Donghack just turns around to try and match the Fearless dive because he sees the threat of Nano and then gets clobbered by the DPS of Houston. Man, they are really slowing this game down.
I actually liked that kind of situation there for both teams. Lip actually gets rid of the translocator as Pelican uses EMP, but no, they end up using the Fearless Nano to go into the backline, trying to force out the Nano or the Rally from the Atlanta Reign, but Chio and Fielder hold on to both of that. And then now you still hold on to the Rally here for Atlanta. I mean, that's huge, even through the EMP.
Hack on Donghack, but he already got the bubble down. Dropping to the low ground, still very, very healthy. 90 seconds to play with. In the primal rage here for both Winston's. Fearless has no choice but to use his now. And Pelican got caught inside the EMP. Lip being very patient on his. And just the one kill is probably enough to work with now. Fearless already used primal, so doesn't have that stall mechanism available to him now. And Violet sees a pulse dropped and instantly hits Rally.
Yeah, but it's still a minute on the clock. This is still pretty good for the Outlaws. This is a primal rage from Donghack trying to separate Shu from the rest of the squad. And now it looks like Happy and maybe Fearless here on the point, just trying to keep it going.
Yeah, getting Chio's Rally is important, but converting on this fight for the Outlaws is going to be the ticket. Stalker gets caught there. I don't know what happens. He slips through, but I think he gets focused down. Maybe a bio thrown at him, I'm not sure. But Atlanta is still able to prevail despite losing that player so early. Fearless already built half of his next primal, but he can't stick around long enough to hold Atlanta off. 2 minutes. 2 minutes for Atlanta here. The Outlaws had plenty of time to spare, so be wary.
Right, so you're thinking like what here? 2 minutes? It's probably like 3 fights, right? If you take a fight early. You know, maybe a fight here at the start, and then you get one underneath that bridge, and then one just kind of trickling out of spawn. It's still Houston, I feel like, has a significant advantage in terms of like where they have in terms of clock and then where the payload is. They can get an early pick off here. This would be huge.
I don't think they can chase Donghack, but being able to force him back and reclaim that high ground. Probably a win condition for the Outlaws here if they're thinking about the long-term defense, already down to a minute 27.
It's a huge win because you actually, you stop the payload here for a brief period of time and you have the EMP. So if you want to get aggressive behind Pelican's EMP, you definitely can. See where
Pelican may want to use
like bait. I think they're just trying to bait them in.
Yeah, reactively, right?
Yeah.
Pelican, okay, translocates out. Both Sombras actually get a little bit scared there. Nano for Fearless, he'll be okay. Despite being hacked, he'll be able to bounce back. So that EMP for Lip probably won't go for much. Oh, the double! Happy getting caught in that one, unclear. Pelican at least is able to pull the plug. That would have been a 3K if that translocator was not available to him, and that is a disaster for Houston, who paved the way for a successful defense, and it all takes a huge hit in that last moment. There is still time for the defenders to filter out. Atlanta are down only 4 players, but that primal rage is going to make it hard to get everyone out in sequence to stall this as much as possible. EMP and an instant kill on Chio. That's called taking the initiative. And the Outlaws take a key frag here. Donghack to be pushing in though, and Shu can't get away. That primal rage is just too much to deny. He couldn't sneak back into spawn, but the Atlanta Reign have one more chance, one more fight. They look like they want to find something early here to get them a player advantage, but I don't think that opportunity is going to show itself.
Yeah, it looks like they back out even when losing Chio, and Chio and Mitch actually had used the Rally and had the benefits of the Nano there, but he gets burnt down so fast. Doesn't get the benefits really of either, so huge kill there from the Houston Outlaws. I mean, if that Brig would have been on the point alive with Rally and Nano, the Reign probably would have completed the map.
Happy winning the 1v1 against Stalker was massive. That's what allows him to sneak in and get a pulse on Chio. And the Houston Outlaws put it together. A really, really lively match here. But the Outlaws on defense are able to out-muscle the Atlanta Reign. And get themselves a second map win here. Atlanta are going to have to take it all the way. If they want this series, this could be the beginning of the first L for the Reign of the season.
And you thought that the Outlaws would be the team to challenge the Reign, but what, just last week, this team goes 0-2 against the Florida Mayhem and the Boston Uprising, and you did not know where this team was going to go from there. To bounce back with 2 wins this week, with one of them being over the Atlanta Reign, giving them their first loss of the season. I mean, that would be enormous in terms of the Outlaws' outlook for the rest of the year.
Well, not since the Pro-Am have we seen the Atlanta Reign bleed, that's for sure. Right now, though, the Outlaws have a fantastic showing on Dorado. This is not the only multi-pulse kill, but looks like it was Pelican actually stuck with that one. So Stalker. Yeah, really impressive stuff here. Losing Chio, though, rallying on the card. He was blaming the main play, hit with that EMP there. That is backbreaking for Atlanta.
Not even just the rally and the nano, right? Yeah, I mean, losing out on that huge combo. I mean, that is huge. Really probably what ends up deciding this one at the end. Like I was talking about, where you would have had a nanoed up rallying Brig on the
Look at this.
there towards that last stages. That would have been one where you would have said the Atlanta Reign would have had a big advantage, and that pulse bomb there just seals the deal.
I mean, Happy won the round when he forced a recall out of Stalker. Great to see him step up against such a dangerous young prospect in Stalker. Esperanza is on the docket for next, and I think you know what comps we're expecting to see. The Old Faithful coming at you for map 4 after this.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Turn it way up, turn it way up.
Crank that volume, turn it way up, way up.
Well, if you're just joining us now, ladies and gents, You better bless up for VODs because you'd best be going back and watching one of the best match days of the Overwatch League we've seen in quite some time. We're topping it off, of course, with a clash towards the top of the tables with the Houston Outlaws right now lead the Atlanta Reign. And list component is quite a big factor in how Dorado went down. Shu on the Ana, absolutely deadly.
I mean, just with even the eye test there on that last map, I mean, Shu was just tremendous. It felt like time and time again, always coming up with big plays, especially with the sleeps and the biotic grenades, and to match somebody like Fielder, who has been really Fielder and Shield, the best support line in the league probably this year. There's another one that could go out there and do it. It's definitely Shu and Violet, and you see why, living up to some of that hype today.
The Atlanta Reign, if I'm not mistaken, are on a 13-match winning streak.
That's a lot of matches.
That is one shy of the record set by the San Francisco Shock. The Houston Outlaws here may have a chance to deny that record from the Atlanta Reign, or at least stop them from equaling it here. The stakes for a regular season game couldn't get much higher than this.
I mean, yeah, really can't. And is it like a good thing? Like, if you're the Atlanta Reign, right? I almost feel like it's good to get a loss in a way, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like you don't want to, if you're this team, right, and trying to stay motivated and keep motivated throughout the year, if you're just kind of like rolling through everybody, it's not exactly the best motivation to kind of keep going where you're getting into the most important part of the year, right? Where sometimes like a loss could be a little bit of a wake-up call, can now kind of like set them back on course.
We're trying to take a close look at the execution of this dive mirror, especially from the Atlanta Reign's perspective. There have been a few things that, despite Houston playing out of their minds and really nailing it in some of these head-to-head matchups, like the other one we just saw, a couple of errors, a couple of things that don't at least appear to be lining up. The Atlanta Reign showing that they are fallible, and gods in fact can bleed for the Houston Outlaws. After losing matches last week to the Mayhem and the Uprising, what a boost this would be to really lift you up and set your sights towards the rest of the regular season and the playoffs beyond. And it would be an incredible way to build some momentum for a team that's had a tough strength of schedule so far.
Dan, when you said you knew what comps we were going to expect here on Esperanza, I thought it was Bastion Reinhardt based stuff, but it looks like we're just going to get more of this Winston, Tracer, Sombra dive that both of these teams are so good on. See who can come out on top. I'm looking at the Sombra matchup here as well. Pelican versus Lip. Lip and Donghax had that one time where they didn't seem to really kind of be on the same page when diving on in, which is really rare for the Atlanta Reign. So see if they can kind of get that cleaned up going into this map.
Yeah, we're referencing, mate, basically that one moment on Dorado that looked a bit odd here, but we'll see if there's more to be done. Lip gets that translocator of Pelican, so he's actually not even trying to focus any of these players down. They just set that up so well. I mean, the discipline from Lip there not to go for something completely different. That results in an easy kill on Pelican to open things up.
And that'll get the push bot moving. Donghack just wants to jump up, tickle that high ground, and make sure nobody can kind of come out all healthy and make a play. It looks like it's just going to be Pelican to get a touch here. Now Fearless going to come down.
Can't quite see Pelican though, so has to wait for that opportunity to present itself. Yeah, Donghack wasn't invested in really taking the high ground completely. Getting some push progress early, it looks like, as Atlanta.
See how fast they jump on Lip there? I mean, he gets down to basically 0 HP and just gets Fearless,
dangerous.
Violet, and Shu right in his face. Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Very dangerous situation. Shu can't keep Fearless alive. He was under pressure himself. Donghack knew exactly who Fearless was trying to go back for, so throws the bubble down and disrupts that healing flow.
Yes, I mean, now you're going to have the Atlanta Reign get control of that bot yet again. And dude, look at Lip's EMP charge right now compared to Pelican. I mean, Pelican dies there at the beginning. Pulse Bomb goes in, doesn't get anything, but you're going to have an EMP for this next fight already for the Atlanta Reign.
Fielder, always shooting something, even if it's shields, doesn't matter. Trying to make sure every second is being used effectively. Lip, okay, the EMP is here, but how do you push in on this? Shu's hit with a biotic grenade, so credit to Fielder for that, and still, they can't find the kill. Nano for Fearless now, he's coming forward, and that was an opportunity for Atlanta, you've got to admit it. Violet didn't have his rally online yet, but they extended too far the Reign and couldn't quite catch those stragglers.
Yeah, but they're not giving up. Oh, I mean, now maybe they are. I was going to say Atlanta's not really giving up any of the map, right? Just constantly taking control of this high ground away from the Houston Outlaws. And maybe the idea is to here try and get Houston to force some of these ultimates, you know, out early just to start to get the bot moving back towards about halfway across the map.
Yeah, already 43 meters for Atlanta Rain. Amidst all that fighting, all that back and forth, kind of not quite engaging, but trading in some sort of weird neutral for a dive. They get a decent lead almost to that checkpoint. Fearless knows that getting through this high ground is going to be the big issue, and that's why Atlanta feel comfortable enough giving some ground.
And now when the Outlaws win with this EMP, Mitch, you know, they're going to have the Nano plus the Rally on the other side, right? It should be pretty healthy. And right there, it actually does not even connect with Fielder. Fielder actually uses the Nano on a Dong hack here during Primal, and then Chio's not even going to be forced to use that Rally.
Uses it now after the fact. With Violet, in fact, they had to pop that. Chio can hold on to it for as long as he likes here, as the Atlanta Rain are not under enough pressure to warrant it. Shield Bash and Dong hack, he's a little low. Fearless went for Primal, but no targets really offering themselves up here. Pushbot's already on its way. Now the Atlanta Rain are being pushed back, they're losing this space, but an EMP comes out in response from Lip. He built that pretty darn fast. And Fearless gets crumpled by four players.
Yeah, and one of the worst parts about that is, you know, Fearless jumps in, you kind of have an idea that EMP is going to come out, but it's a biotic grenade as well at like basically the same time. So the benefits of that nano boost that Shu actually ends up giving over to Fearless, it doesn't really get anything, just gets burnt down so fast. Is the rough scenario there for the Outlaws.
Yeah, because Chio held on to that rally for just long enough, as Fearless eventually had an opportunity to dive, and we thought Atlanta might have been in a weird spot. He pops it, all of a sudden Fearless has to kind of turn around, they lose a player there, and that gives the Atlanta Rain a key checkpoint. Really conservative, really safe play from Atlanta. They really want to secure this map 5, they're not ready to take any risks.
Yes, the bot getting very close to kind of getting that checkpoint as Outlaws.
They got it right.
I mean, it looks, yeah, it actually looks like they did.
They got it.
It looks like the bot like stopped for a second, yeah. So it looks like they actually do get it. So getting the checkpoint is quite massive here, even though the bot now looks like it's going to be going back towards Atlanta Rain territory. Still having that for later in the game is massive.
Atlanta don't feel like they need to push any further than they have so far. They can go back and retake this defensive high ground. And now the Outlaws, without an EMP that they used to get themselves out of that situation, have to take control of this part of the map the old-fashioned way. Stalker having to recall here. Fearless hacked up on that high ground. Shu desperately trying to keep him in good standing.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Nano.
It's a nano. Okay, trade here. Should be happy falling to Stalker. He looks like he had eyes for him, but nicely done by Shu. Picks that one out, but immediately the Rain explode. The EMP, and this time Dong Hack, Matt, he is in step with Lip. Is there more to be found here, though? It doesn't look like that's the case. Violet's rally keeps the Outlaws standing.
No, I was going to say, maybe he ends up trying to use that Primal Rage, but dies pretty much as soon as he gets it. And yes, Violet's rally keeps himself alive, you know, even though it looked like he was quite low in that EMP, you know, once it landed. Looks like Dog Hack just went for Shu instead of Violet, but keeping himself alive allows the bot to keep moving here for the Houston Outlaws.
Shu's going to be quite late to this.
Huge.
Pelican and Lip, yeah, they're fighting the periphery, maybe around that health pack. Lip was low, in fairness, and he was walking the long way back. Maybe had no translocator in play. That is huge. Fearless here, knows how close his team are to the checkpoint, so knows he needs to be absolutely spot on here. Has that Primal Dong Hack, of course, forced to save his after that last fight. Where do you go from here? Create space. Primal now into the back line. Hack attempted there by Lip, but Fearless is able to avoid it. Just wants to disrupt here. Not trying to go for a final blow. Translocator has to be used here. Everybody backing away from him, but Dong Hack is doing the same thing on the other side of the map. It's mirror images here. Looks like Shu's sleep didn't work out. Dong Hack takes a ton of damage in doing so. It doesn't matter. Buys enough time for his backline to recover from Fearless.
Well, I think the difference maker there is Dong Hack has the benefits of the nano boost, right? You know, has the benefits of that nano plus his own primal and gets into that backline. Because I thought Fearless is doing an incredible job. Like, you could see through the outline that, like, Fielder is set up on the high ground, like on the opposite side of the choke there from where the bot is by the checkpoint. And Fearless just kept doing a nice job of going into that middle of that choke where the bot was, putting down a bubble, preventing that line of sight, and then putting down the bubble and then popping the primal to try and displace everybody. Just not able to pick up any kills with it, right? You know, Happy picks up one, but Dong Hack does a tremendous job with the benefits of the nano and his own primal to just push everybody else in the Outlaws so far out.
Front One spawn re-established for Atlanta. Happy going the roundabout route. That's your teammate. See Stalker here. You can see why he's so itchy on the trigger finger. He knows that Atlanta are lurking close by, and Stalker pursues in there. Happy throws his head back. He kind of gave up on chasing the Tracer down, and that ended up being to his detriment.
Yes, and now we see the bot still going deeper into the Outlaws territory. Even though they lose Donghack, he's going to have that close spawn, and you're going to be able to be set up with that EMP plus Rally and Nano potentially here. So you're going to be in a fantastic spot, but it looks like the range is back up. Maybe they want to play from this high ground, right? Remember we see at the beginning of the game? Yeah, you see where Donghack is. They just keep locking them in there.
Just as Pelican had almost caught up to Lip in terms of EMP charge. It's an early one just to secure the kill on the Sombra.
Yeah, I was going to say, they just used the EMP to just solo kill Pelican there. I mean, I feel like that's worth.
It's fine. I mean, a couple more moments and he has one of his own, and then you really can't guarantee a positive outcome from the fight. Stalker's been doing this a lot, trying to get around behind the brick. Forcing Rally here seems great, though. Atlanta have no interest in forcing the issue now.
Well, no, now you control high ground, right? You force out the Rally, you have double support ults yourself, so just sit up here on this high ground and play that big EMP. The EMP doesn't connect with either of the supports, though.
Okay, the timing was good. They caught him just as Atlanta Reign were touching down, but Donghack has the primal, and he has that enclosed space. Happy knows he needs to dig deeper, and so finds a pulse bomb in his pocket and deploys it with a plum. It's going to be Donghack, though. Pushing deep in there. Oh, man, he knows. Does he know? He knows.
Check his PC. So
that guy, where'd that EAC at, dog?
So you use the Nano, right? Once the EMP comes in, you lose one player right away. And then once the Nano kind of like wears off and then Fielder ends up dying, then you just end up using your Rally, and it's a fight win for the Atlanta Reign, even though you have that massive ultimate that comes through from the Outlaws.
It's a miracle that Donghack is alive right now.
Yeah.
He was in enemy territory and got bioed. So escapes away and also gives Fielder like 30% of his ult charge. Speaking of under ult charge, though, it gets used on Fearless right now. But whom do we go for? Perhaps just being able to be an anchor here and allow the rest of your team to filter behind you is worth it. Fearless will get away after getting hacked and taken low, but Atlanta are back in control of the bot. Houston can't derive an advantage.
Atlanta just backs up confidently towards this choke, and there's nothing that they can do about it.
Stalker doubles back, thinking that Pelican might be tickling his supports, but this is fine for the Atlanta Reign. One more fight, and Houston don't even have that first checkpoint yet. EMP catches Fearless, and he is down, and that has got to be it. Stalker has a pulse bomb to spend. The bot is a long way away. We'll see Pelican rush up to try and touch. Happy also does, but it is just Houston Outlaws running at the beachhead right now. Donghack maybe slept, but he's earned it. Got to burn them calories somehow, and it will be a map 5 for us here in this matchup between the Atlanta Reign and the Outlaws, and frankly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, Dorado, I actually thought that there was just tremendous ultimate rotation from the Outlaws, right? They did a great job of using everything at the same exact time, perfectly in sync. Where this one, this map on Esperanza, you did not really see that. Atlanta Reign was just so dialed in on what to use when, always had an answer for what the Outlaws were throwing at them.
This is why I said Houston had to be perfect. This is the Atlanta Reign we kind of expected to see coming out of the gates at the start of this series. Now, the fact that they've arrived late, probably not really an issue here. If they keep playing like this, they're probably going to win the series. I'm calling it now. But really competitive stuff so far in total. Esperanza feels like Atlanta never pushed further than they had to. They really abused the high ground after getting that early checkpoint. The bot would just swing back to a position where they could just stand above it. And it was just impossible for Houston to ever get through. This is as far as they ever got.
Yeah, and it just seemed like even when you were trying to get benefits of this EMP for the Outlaws, right here, right? This is a fight perfect example where Pelican uses EMP, you get that first kill right away. You lose Violet, you lose Shu because they have nothing to kind of protect themselves with. And guess what? Donghack gets the benefits of that Nano. Chio ends up with a Rally, and there's no way you're getting rid of that support line.
Third eye of Donghack opening there. Chakras aligned just in time for Oasis. Your map 5, it all ends here, ladies and gentlemen. Can the Outlaws dethrone this reign, or will it be Atlanta equaling the match win record in the Overwatch League? It's on the table. The match win record in the Overwatch League, previously held only by the San Francisco Shock, is there for the taking for this Atlanta Reign squad. All they've got to do is reach out and grab it. One little problem, just a kink in that plan, is that at times in this series, their opponents, the Houston Outlaws, have been looking better than ever. Esperanza wasn't the greatest showing from Houston. The plucky upstarts looking to topple this undefeated juggernaut. However, Oasis presents another opportunity to show their mastery on control maps and snatch away victory.
And you just wonder if that, maybe the Outlaws' opportunity was like, on maybe it was obviously playing Midtown way differently, or it was on our previous map on Esperanza that, just letting Atlanta hang around in these series, it is tough. It is not one where you want to let them linger and get it to a game 5 because they're so difficult to put away.
The Outlaws were pretty frightening, making extensive use of those symmetric ops on Lijiang Tower. Here on City Center, that might be somewhat more difficult for the Outlaws. It's all, anything could happen here. We may see this Junker Queen comp. Looks like the Outlaws want to try and counter the Atlanta Reign's look.
Yeah, let's see. So, all right, so Junker Queen with the Moira and Kiriko. So we know that Violet is very good on Moira and obviously Shu on the Kiriko. So looks to be a little bit of an attempt at countering what we're seeing the Atlanta Reign throw at them. The Junker Queen also really good on this point in general, Mitch, right? Like just the survivability of the Junker Queen is just so good.
Donghak gets knifed there. No chance to tug him in. Very standard setup for the Outlaws with the Junker Queen comp to the high ground, but eventually choose to drop. The Reign look a little bit split here. You'll note that Chiyu and Fielder are very close to the front line, and Shu has to use that protection Suzu early for the Bionade.
Yeah, and I mean, well, look, it's good to have it for the Bionade, right? As now you just kind of have this like 50-50 game where Donghak is looking at who does he exactly dive here, right? There's not exactly a static target like an Ana on the other side. The Kiriko can be very mobile, same with the Moira, good survivability with the Fade, so makes it pretty difficult for Donghak and Co to figure out who to go after, but they get Violet.
Yeah, I mean, Fearless constantly was physically looking back at his supports just to try and see if any flankers were harrying them. Just as he looks away, though, that's when Stalker emerges and finds that first pick, and now this composition comes crumbling down.
Yeah, now you wonder if you're the Outlaws, like, do you stay on this to try and take it back? Like, is this something you're committed to the entire round? Or do you feel like it was something maybe at the start you can come out on and really just catch them by surprise? At least for now, it looks like they're going to stick with it.
Yeah, I switched there. I saw Fearless just going back and forth in spawn.
Right, so now he's
Winston is the choice.
Are you going to keep with the supports, though? Interesting. So
they already walked back to the point, Matt.
Yeah.
It's awkward. Make no mistake. Houston have lost a bit of time here. Nothing that can't be made up with a solid EMP, though, and Pelican delivers. Start calling him a stalk instead. Going to be nano though on Donghak here, though. His intended target looks like they slipped away by a translocation, and Rally is forced out of Fielder. Now, the Reign still control the point. There needs to be a conversion on this good start to the fight. Donghak and Fearless end up getting traded out, so not where Houston wanted to find themselves here. Maybe still awkward with this support lineup, and a Lip EMP could seal the deal. Shu almost preemptively, Suzu's himself. Lip does not EMP though.
Yeah, I think he knew that EMP was going to come at any second. Now the EMP comes, and they just absolutely delete Pelican. As Sune Rush, though, comes in for the Outlaws, and Fearless back in the fight.
Pretty scary for the cycling of Winston's abilities inside this Kitsune Rush. There's a lot of bubbles available for Fearless if he wants to throw them down. The Outlaws can't derive anything from the use of that Kiriko ultimate, though. Stalker gets pressured away from the crux of the fight. He'll eventually come back to find Happy, though. He always comes back. And there's a pulse bomb should he need it on Fearless, but looks like pushing him away is more than enough for the Reign to be happy with.
Yeah, but it looks like Fearless is going to be able to jump on in, contest the point, and he's got the Primal Rage.
Yeah, body grenade hit Fearless. He was forced to use that there. Atlanta Reign do have a pulse bomb. They got the rally to work with here.
It looks like Fearless maybe like jumped up and got out of the box of the point, and nobody else was gotten there to touch. So they do end up.
So now, what's the point of hanging around? Why stick? Oh goodness, Pelican's about to get lapped by Lip in terms of ult charge too. Man, he came back to the fight with an EMP, and Lip guns him down.
Yeah, I mean, that is brutal there, because you're using the Primal to just kind of keep that point rolling, right, in your favor. You think at this point you can be up maybe even near a tie game, right, if Fearless was able to step on it, but it looks like maybe he just jumped off of it, for just a second, right? Like got up onto that, you know, pillar in the middle and just kind of got on the platform just a brief second. And the point was so close already to being flipped. And this will be an EMP, and it's going to be Happy converting on the kill onto Chio.
Chio down with Rally available, so the correct target's definitely picked by the Outlaws, but Lip had that EMP. He's one ahead of Pelican in terms of building those up, and he might be even further in front if we even get there. We're into overtime now. We'll feel us out of the picture. It's a grim scene being painted for the Houston Outlaws. And it looks like the Junker Queen comp fizzling out. Too late to switch to dive. The Outlaws hand that one over.
That's a rough one for Houston. You come out on a composition trying to like catch them off guard, or maybe you think you're countering them at the start and that doesn't exactly work. And then for a brief period of time, it looked like you were actually going to be able to kind of keep that one rolling, right? Maybe you could stall it out a little bit, kind of get it, know to where it was a tie game, but just a little bit, you know, maybe just decided by inches, right? Just getting off the point and just letting the point flip. There's nothing you could do about it.
And that's a scary prospect again now. Lip deciding that this is his time to show just how wide, how deep the gulf is between him and every other Sombra player in the league. Also, a darn thing that Houston could do about it. These solo EMPs just on Pelican to keep him down, keep him quiet under the thumb.
They'll come out with a Junker Queen again, but this time it's Junker Queen with the Mei in the mix. So Mei, Tracer, Junker Queen with the Kriko Moira. It seems like they're really focusing here on survivability.
Yeah, it's the chokes as well that this point features. City Center doesn't quite have to really make use of those here. Donghak here with a knife. Fearless holds off on it for now until he tries to escape, but leaves it a little bit too long. Donghak actually able to get low enough not to be pulled back into his waiting arms. Violet on the low ground feels like he's in a slightly vulnerable spot. Stalker doesn't want to commit though. He sees Fearless. It's a golden opportunity to get rid of an enemy tank. That's dirty stuff from Stalker. This Echo now is something that the Outlaws tried in the first map that's getting used against them.
Yes, Pelican looks like he's just trying to keep this one stalled out as long as possible. Looked like potentially maybe ice blocked a little bit earlier, so didn't have it there towards the end. Nice sticky bombs there on the shoe is there'll be a flip here for the Atlanta Reign. So using that Echo to access that high ground, huge there, right? Donghak can't go up there, finish those kills off alone. Maybe it'd be a little bit harder to access that with flankers, so they go with the Echo and it pays off.
Still no coalescence from Violet, which is odd considering Fielded's ultimate is ostensibly harder to build. Speaks to how difficult the fight was for Houston there. There's a Fielder hack. Behind him, I think, is the Sombra. He kind of ignores it for the most part. Sends the Nano over towards Donghak, who will fight against Fearless in the front line. Carnage makes that a little bit more complicated, but he does not care. The Atlanta Reign here finally asserting their dominance in the starkest way possible.
Do you feel like the Outlaws needed to do this? Like needed to kind of try and play these counter comps? Yeah, like I don't
play the mirror.
I don't play the mirror either. Like yeah, you've won maps on the mirror. I don't think it's crazy where I mean, especially in this scenario, right, where you could have played the Echo if you wanted to, right, which we know that they like to do with Pelican. I feel like this is like a prime opportunity to do so.
The nade from Fielder, he's making so much use of that high ground, drops it in, it's followed up on perfectly, but Happy finds that solo kill on Chio. Coalescence here almost superfluous, as the Outlaws have a chance to try and equal the tally set by the Atlanta Reign.
Yeah, I mean, the pulse bomb is huge there from Happy at the start. Takes out Chio, gets Fielder really low, he's finished off, and now they get the point back. So now we'll see how they access this high ground and kind of control it yet again, as looks like we got some changes here, as yeah, Lip will go and play the Sombra now.
Sneaky Donghak. Gets spotted by Happy. Hard to be stealthy with such an immense bulk, I suppose. Katsuna Rush dropped here by Shu. It's going to be a primal from Donghak instantly. He's seen the target. It looks like someone doesn't have a coalescence. Violet holds it, or gets it just in time, but he's going to be chased. He gets the health pack, but Donghak is committed to this. He is in for a penny and in for a pound. Healing all for Violet now. Donghak may be realizing this was ill-advised. Returns to the scene. Houston have the point still, though, and that's allowed them to catch up. EMP comes down from Pelican. Still only results in a trade at best, but there's a rampage available for Fearless, and Stalker gets caught in the crosshairs.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to get a big value, you think, out of the rampage with just kind of like trying to find players in a straight line with such mobility out of the Reign comp. But, I mean, really, just Donghak Donghack did a tremendous job just juggling Violet, but you just see the survivability of Moira, right? Being able to fade, throw a healing orb for yourself, the lifesteal. I mean, so difficult to take out that support.
A lot of pressure on Shu. Violet can only help him for so long. He spends many of his cooldowns in order to keep him standing, and so here's the Rampage. Stalker's going to be hit by it, but have a recall away from it. Fire connection on towards Fearless, and Violet's going to have the coalescence here. Shu caught in the back, chased on down. Violet couldn't swivel to heal him quickly enough. And then Donghack almost has yet another primal, but will he get there? 29% sheltering inside the bubble, looking for health. 8. At only 8. And the Outlaws let the point get flipped, though, with a player advantage. Bit of a blooper. They'll be able to rectify that, but not before the Rain have people to come back and fight.
Yeah, I think it's wise, though. I mean, you chase and get that kill on the Donghack. He's still not on the spawn. I think it was worth.
Lipsy MP looking to end it here, but Happy and Pelican have other ideas. They find the backline of the Atlanta Rain. And while Donghack and Stalker are able to reciprocate, Lip has to get off of the point. Primal for Donghack, gonna have to be used here in just a moment. He doesn't need to use it on Fearless, which is huge. The Atlanta Rain maybe fighting back into this, but Pelican beats Stalker, even with Donghack's oversight. Atlanta able to flip back.
Okay, so they flip the point. That's not the worst thing here for the Outlaws, because you hold on to this EMP. You come back, EMP, Kitsune Rush, you feel like that is worth at least a kill, right? Where you can get an early pickoff, and you have to take advantage after that.
Donghack transitions between high ground purchase now as he feared Fearless would be about to make his approach. He'll bide his time. Atlanta Rain going to make it overtime before any action occurs here. Upstairs goes Donghack there, but Chio! What on earth? Violet's able to pick him up. I don't know how he found that kill. Nor is Donghack apparently. Bemused as he is, he's got to keep going, but Shoes come down on him like a ton of bricks, and our Pelican looks to force Stalker away. The Houston Outlaws are going to equalize this one. We're going to go all the way, surely. Protection Susie thrown down. Pelican is able to shake his assailant, and there on that low ground, Lip can't get a touch. Map 5, round 3, you got it.
Chio was on the high ground, right?
Yes.
I mean, did they give Moira like a Glock in the last, like, I mean, that is like long range there, that Violet is able to get him. It didn't look like it was like an orb either. It looks like just like almost like a right click there. From Violet being able to get that long range kill, looks like on a Chio. Let's see. Yeah, just wait, what?
He got hit by something else. There's no way.
I mean, obviously, but it just looks ridiculous, like from that POV. Like that has to be max range that Moira gets that pick off.
Can you believe, after all this talk about the dive, the Sombra Tracer, we get a Ramatra Rush mirror for our last round of this first of 3.
So we'll see Happy pick up the Sojourn. His Lip will stay continuously on that Sombra. And I wonder, with the way this point is like constructed, right? The Sojourn should be, obviously Sombra very, very impactful all the time, but in the way these fights may kick off, like in neutral, especially in how things go with the Mei and just kind of like stall and just a little bit longer, I think that the Sojourn maybe gives you a little bit of an advantage.
Chio just bowled over there. Donghack caught in between the play. It just flattened. Houston Outlaws getting to go over towards Ramatra Rush. They look very comfortable here. There should be alarm bells klaxoning for the Atlanta Rain camp.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just a lot more damage, right? Like, if you see Lip here towards the end, right? He's only really just kind of like putting damage down from the side and whatnot. Yeah, as he goes over to the Sojourn, I think this is the right move. I think the Sojourn, especially for this type of point, and with the style that both these teams are going to play this composition, it's just that consistent upfront damage and then just that one-shot potential with that railgun. It's just too important not to have it.
Maywall, constant issues being posed here for Donghack. He's forced to fold away from the fight, and oh my goodness! And it finds Violet suspended, it seems, in midair. Maybe at least to him. Guy sees at 2,000 hertz. Immortality field being thrown up here, giving the Outlaws a way to fight back through that Maywall, but the Air Matrix is not going to save them here. Lip is laying them low, and Pelican gets popped one by Chio. His aggression from Lip pays off. It's a trade, but it'll favor Atlanta as they're back on the point.
And right there, I mean, you see why the Sojourn is so good to have in those fights. His Lip lines up that first shot, just rips Violet's head off. As Ant Matrix available here for Fielder and the Atlanta Rain, but Pelican with obviously the Maywall and Blizzard could make it very difficult to get value out of that.
Over the course of this map, Houston have 8 less kills in total than the Atlanta Rain. With all the back and forth we've seen, in fact, it's been Stalker that's really stood up in terms of the kills, final blows. Okay, we have Annihilations in play. 2 swirling Maelstroms, but Fearless as one must have Razor Blades thrown in there. the Blizzard from Stalker is just avoided, frankly. Houston Outlaws now with a power play, a chance to force their way in. It's going to be an ice block from Stalker. I mean, if that was a boot down on Fearless, they could have changed the map here. But instead, Stalker will get picked off and the Outlaws will get back at parity.
I mean, that ultimate is massive from Fearless. What, connects with 3 there? Able to flip the point back. Do not allow Atlanta Reign to take the lead. That's the type of play, a little bit of a momentum changer. And oh, look at this. They go fast. They catch the Atlanta Reign off guard. They come out here with the overclock. And it's going to be, 2 big kills there from Happy. Fearless cleaning some stuff up as well. So that one caught the Atlanta Reign off guard. I didn't think they expected them to push in that fast.
You can't script this stuff either. Happening in map 5, round 3. Instantly, the Outlaws explode through the choke as the Atlanta Reign was still finding their footing. Happy uses that overclock. Lip will have his available, but still, you're happy with that fight win now as it's getting dicey for Atlanta. Lip has to go huge from this position, but where are the targets?
Everybody just kind of like hiding, right? Not a huge opportunity. Look at this. The Outlaws realize that Lip is up on that high ground. They actually use their sound barrier and rotate around and try and catch some of the other members of the Atlanta Reign.
They're going for it again. Houston try and start the fight. They lose Happy, but they trade Fielder. No Baptiste here for Atlanta. What a scary prospect indeed. Drew's able to get back to safety. He sees Lip on the point, but the Immortality Field. Okay, Pelican steps out of it. Stalker able to hit him with an icicle from behind, and that's 2 kills for the May. But the Outlaws have it in overtime now, and Dog Axe gonna fall down. Who will stand up and challenge the Outlaws? Finally, the Atlanta Reign are toppled, and the emotions are palpable. The Houston Outlaws bring a 13-match win streak to an end against their old rivals. The team that's handed them devastating losses in the games that matter. Houston finally get one back.
We thought at the beginning of the year this Outlaws team would be the team to do it, would contend with the Atlanta Reign. And when we saw the midseason madness, you're like, man, not sure if that's going to happen whatsoever. But man, with a tremendous win here today, I think this kind of injects life into really the rest of the league. A lot of the teams that are at the top of the West, in the East, that Atlanta is vulnerable. Although it does take 5 maps to do it, you can beat them.
And they did it their way as well. They got to play the Ramatra Rush in that final stage. Unfortunate, I guess, for Atlanta Reign, who maybe feel less drilled on that composition, but that Atlanta team we expected them to have that covered as well. But it's the variation of pace we saw from Houston in that last round of the last map. Just going aggressive. First they come out with Happy's overclock, right? Catch Atlanta off guard. Then it's Violet's sound barrier. They push into them once more. And Atlanta never had a fair pitched battle to retake the point from that point on.
Well, I love the decision at the end, right? Like the 2 fights there at the end that, ended things for the Houston Outlaws in their favor. The first one, they take advantage. They go fast. They use the overclock. I think they catch the Atlanta Reign off guard. And then the next time they actually have Lip rotating around that high ground, and they realize, hey, let's not just wait for the Atlanta Reign to set up and do exactly what they want. They use a Maywall, block him off from the point, and they speed boost on through, and they get that Baptiste, and then they just double back, and it's a fantastic play.
Time to talk about a player of the match here for the Houston Outlaws, and in a battle of world-class backlines, it was Shu who stepped up to make the difference for Houston. Not only the Baptiste in that last map, but let's throw it all the way back. Long day, I know. Incredible performance, and having to go up against someone like Fielder and going toe-to-toe with the entirety of the Atlanta Reign, that in itself is impressive.
I mean, he had a tremendous day from start to finish. And this is what I think it's going to take to beat this Atlanta Reign team. The supports of Shio and Fielder are just so consistent, all day long, all series long. It feels like they rarely ever make mistakes, that your support line needs to play that good. And I thought Shu was tremendous today in combination with Violet.
Stats here for you. Your player of the match on Ana. Just incredible performance overall. Doesn't really tell the story of the entire series, because we came into this match saying that Houston had to be perfect today. At times, the Atlanta Reign were fallible. They were able to take advantage. But in that last map, it was about as close as it gets. And the way that Houston purported themselves on Oasis, absolutely a deserved victory.
Yeah.
Cutting that Atlanta Reign win streak short. Maybe they don't think about that too much. But for the Outlaws, it's been a brutal couple of weeks. To cap week 2 off with a win like that, chef's kiss.
And this should give them confidence, right? That the rest of the season, that they know if this is a match that they see later in the playoffs or the finals of the entire year, that they have the ability to beat this team. They've already done it once.
Now, we talked about that divide between the Atlanta Reign and the rest of the league. That has been bridged now by your Houston Outlaws. All of a sudden, it's all up for grabs now because we know what teams gave Houston trouble in the last week or so. Makes the league that much more exciting. We can take a breather. It's been an incredible day of games, probably my favorite in a long, long time. And we're going to head back to our friends on the desk to see how they react to the fact they all picked Houston to win. Some of them in a 3-0. Spicy. Love that for them. See you after this.
아, 나 죽었다. 라필. 나 거의 다 왔어. 나이스. 루시오 인드. 루시오 다. 이겼냐?
You love to see it.
Oh, the rapid incline of emotion. It was like, oh, I died. No, we got Ram dead. Lucio dead.
I was impressed. They were locked in at the start of that clip. That's the last 5 seconds of the match, and their focus is clean comms. They're not shouting until it's they start shouting. It's already over. They won. They did not count their chickens before they hatched. That's why Houston took this today. Incredible performance.
Incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, while they were calm in their comms, Jake in the back end was not.
I've never played in Houston ever again.
He believes in
Houston, they're doing it! They're doing it, Houston!
Oh my God. I will
was all
bet against Houston every single series they play the rest of the season. After this, it's I have to now. I bet them to win every time they lose. Now I bet them to lose, they win.
You were the problem. It wasn't the problem. It wasn't the team. It wasn't the players.
But he's also the solution.
I need to continue betting against them.
You're the most rational guy I know, and you fall on this hill. You die on this hill.
So if you have nothing, you don't have any other data to go by, right?
I don't need data. I have vibes.
Exactly. I don't need data. I have vibes. That's such a good quote. Put it on a t-shirt. I'll buy it.
Ship it and send it.
Ship it, send it. But also, let's take a look once again at some match highlights. And there were plenty to choose from because both those teams popped up and they took it all the way to map number 5.
It was funny how it started off on Lijiang Tower with the Houston Outlaws winning the first map, because suddenly you went from it's the meme you're leaning back just the Atlanta Reign dominant, and then Outlaws wins a map and you're like, oh wait, this is actually a series, this might actually happen. Throughout this series the backline stood out. Shu became player of the match, of course, but Violet on this brig as well, keeping Stalker away, keeping Dongak away, keeping Aleppo away. I feel like the backline for the Outlaws just stepped up to another level in this one, Jake.
Yeah, they were absolutely elite. Not just staying alive, but fighting back. It was turning kills the other way time and time again. Just as often as those divers were catching Shu and Violet were winning those fights. And that's what you need to do to beat the Reign. You can't just be on the back foot, letting them play their game. We talked about this a little bit, about that final fight Matt was mentioning, the final fight on Oasis. It's them, the Outlaws, charging in, initiating, grabbing the tempo. That's getting them the advantage in these fights. On top of just incredible individual. Shu was lights out today.
Yeah.
So many sleeps. It's so frustrating to play when an Ana's doing this to you, because you start to question yourself on Tracer and Sombra. Do I need to recall out here? You feel like the sleep's gonna hit you. You might start playing more passively, and at that point, it's so hard to come back and win the series. So it's that pressure of a sleep dart. It does more than the sleeps you even land. It's the fear that, holy crap, this Ana's too good.
And also throughout this series, when the Houston Outlaws won the maps, I really do feel like Pelican stepped it up to another level on the Sombra. I mean, you're playing against Lip, so it's very hard to play similar to Lip. But I really felt like Pelicans' EMPs were clutch. It was often they were engaged fast and perfect timing. They caught Lip before Lip was ready to engage, for example, or the backline. The dice were clean into the backline. Pelicans' EMPs, I think, was pretty good throughout the series, and it led to 3 of these map wins.
I mean, I don't know what Houston had for lunch or dinner. I don't know what time it is right there, but they should keep eating whatever they ate before this match. Don't change anything, because it was just absolutely incredible performance from Houston Outlaws, and yeah. And I think this makes everything more interesting, because now, Atlanta Reign, they were undefeated. Now Houston Outlaws, by beating them, sort of proved that, they're sort of on the equal. Yeah, it's possible.
And Houston is
Yeah.
Houston is hanging
They're
with
not gods,
Boston
they're
and
humans.
Florida.
Yeah.
Boston and Florida currently top 3.
Right.
Top 3 make it directly to the playoffs. Houston's like with the pack now. Like they're not falling off, so they're still competing with Boston and Florida for those spots.
And it's just a good look, story-wise as well. Like as much as I do love the Atlanta Reign, and I do love dominant performances, to be able to have cracks in armor and to know that, hey, you know, like the possibility is there. It's not going to be just an easy run for them where they don't even have to try. Like they have to try now.
Yeah.
They know.
Oh, yeah.
Like they showed some cracks in the armor. Great look, of course, for the Houston Outlaws, but also a lot to look back on for the Atlanta Reign.
Also, it's like a good wake-up call for Atlanta Reign as
Yeah.
well. It's like, hey, like, you know, we gotta get back into it and we gotta win again.
That's good. Gotta know how to lose in order to win. That's very important. And now, of course, a player we highlighted already during the match highlights, someone who also got the honors of the player of the match. It is no other than Shu. And Danny is, I don't know, are you okay?
What's he doing? What are you doing? Are you good?
All right, post-match interview. The player of the match. We got Shu on the line for a quick chat. Shu, big congratulations on getting the win. This is an amazing job from the Houston Outlaws. You guys finally defeated the Atlanta Reign. So I'm just gonna keep it simple and ask you, how do you feel right now? 자, 일단 오늘 승리를 축하드리면서 오늘 승리 좀 더 굉장할 거라고 좀 생각을 합니다. 왜냐면 일단 아틀란타를 지금까지 계속 연승을 했던 팀을 드디어 휴스턴이 꺾었기 때문에 일단 소감 한 말씀 들으면서 시작을 할게요.
지금 마이크 잘 들리나요?
네, 잘 들립니다.
일단 진짜 정말 너무 이기고 싶었는데 제가 미드 시즌 MSM 때 3대2로 풀세트에서 한번 졌었잖아요. 그때 지고 나서 혼자 좀 많이 울었거든요. 프로 하면서 진짜 처음 눈물을 흘린 거였는데 너무 분해가지고 이길 수 있는 팀인데 왜 이렇게 힘들지 생각했는데 오늘은 그래도 그때보다는 조금 더 쉽게 잘 이긴 것 같아서 기분이 굉장히 좋습니다.
Yeah, it really does feel great to get the win against Atlanta Reign. To be really truthful, during the mid-season madness, there was a time where we lost to them 3-2 in the mid-season madness tournament. And to be really honest, that was probably my first time ever crying after a match because we knew that we could have gotten the win, and I was just so angry that tears just flowed out of my eyes. So coming in, we really wanted to get the revenge against the Atlanta Reign, and I'm just so thankful and glad that we finally did it. And you guys did it in an amazing way. You're amazing. Your Ana play today was just absolutely incredible. But it was a very back and forth fight today against the Atlanta Reign. So what do you think gave the Houston Outlaws the edge today? 자, 오늘 진짜 너무나도 좋은 모습을 많이 보여주셨던 이제 슈 선수이시고 제가 봤을 때는 일단 오늘 경기가 또 굉장히 접전이었고 굉장히 왔다 갔다를 많이 한 경기인데 좀 어떻게 해서 승리까지 가게 되신 것 같으신가요?
일단 제 생각에는 저희가 진짜로 이기고 싶어하는 마음가짐이 그들보다 조금 더 있었던 것 같고 이제 저희는 좀 많이 간절했어요. 이제 보스턴 메이엠전 지고 이제 에틀까지 지면 3등 안에 들기도 어려운데 이거 무조건 잡아야 된다. 이제 애틀란타는 휴스턴 말고는 잡을 팀이 없다. 이제 이러면서 이제 저희가 그런 마음가짐을 가져서 승리한 게 된 것 같아요.
I think the biggest difference between us and the Atlanta Reign was that we were just really thirsty for the win. Just going in that we really wanted that revenge. We really wanted to beat the Atlanta Reign. And, you know, because we already lost to Boston and Florida Mayhem last week, you know, if we lose to Atlanta Reign, that's a really bad look on us. And we always told ourselves that, you know, it has to be us that has to beat the Atlanta Reign. So at the end of the day, you know, our desire to win, desire to defeat the Atlanta Reign came in clutch for the Houston Outlaws. All right, that is it for the interview. Big congratulations again, Shu. 네, all right. Shu actually has something to say for everybody. 예, 해주시죠.
제이크 왜 우리 안 뽑았지?
I'm gonna always predict against you. Rest of the season. 계속 안 믿을게요. You know, you won. If I predict against you,
come here.
Yeah, I come.
All right, everybody. So Shu just called Jake out saying, "Why did you pred us, Jake?"